Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers and subscribers at the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because it saves lives. That is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives on this channel. We at this channel aid criminals, their financiers, their supporters, enablers, and the likes with a passion, and we do not want them over here. Yes, let us repeat ourselves. We do not want any criminal supporters over here. Please, we do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes, or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you, the criminal supporters, enablers, financiers, and all the likes, to go to prison or madness. Let me repeat myself. We at the Jamaica Young Police channel, we do not want the criminal supporters and their circle over here. We want you to go to prison or madden. Moving on to our video. Yes, as you can look right now on your LCD, you can see that we said we support the Commissioner of Police, Major Anthony Anderson, action of interdicting the PMP LGBTQ plus chairman of the Police Federation. Any police officer who supports Corporal Rowan James should pack their bags, leave the police force and join the PMP party. Yes, they should join the PMP LGBTQ plus party. The PMP LGBTQ plus party activists within the police force are destroying the reputation, credibility, and political impartiality that should be the cornerstone of the police force. And the time to cleanse the police force must start from now. The first person to go must be Corporal Rowan James. Yes, Corporal Rowan James of the Police Federation should go first, because he's destroying the image of the police force. Because you're going to hear some things from one of our media houses in Jamaica that giving you the raw mama papa detail, and any police officers who are against what the Commissioner of Police is doing, they need to pack their bags and leave the police force, because they are not police officers. Because what this man has done, this level of corruption and political activism, haven't been seen in the police force since the 1970s. We thought that we're going forward as a police force, but this man wants to take us back to the days when police officers were driving around in marked police vehicle with brigadistas and killing other Jamaicans because of their political allegiance. Because I've been telling people, based on information received and obtained from people who work at Special Branch, that this man was a PMP LGBTQ plus activist who should not be a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. But when I've been saying it, everyone was like, I'm blowing on and I am a JLP supporter, because it seems like, to speak the truth, only JLP supporters do it, not Jamaicans, because we as a people have been cultured to be liars, criminal-minded, criminal supporters, and criminal enablers. But we at the Jamaica Young Police channel, we do not believe in that. We believe in justice. It's not who's right, but what is right. Yeah, that's what we believe in here. So the time to cleanse the police force is now. And you understand, Corporal Rowan James and members of the Federation team, including Corporal Arlene McBean, as all of these people are political activists and not police officers who deserve to be wearing the uniform and getting a salary from the Jamaican people. They are no different than Danville Palmer, Tesha Miller, Andre Blackman Bryan, the influence of vote buying and other corrupt practices at the Police Federation by these people. And the PMP has invested a large sum of money in the last election. One of their delegates had leaked information, contacted us and told us that the last election of the Federation chairman and its members, it was corrupt. Yes, it was corrupt. So if you have never wear this uniform, the one in the middle, you cannot speak about being a police officer, because you're not. You don't know that. Trying to pass the police test more than 7 times doesn't make you a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. So we at the Jamaica Young Police channel, we support Major Anthony Anderson to rid the police force of corruption, especially the political PMP, LGBTQ plus activists, Corporal Rowan James and the rest of the Police Federation leadership and to dismantle the same and make sure that the police officers' pay raise is aligned with the member of the permanent secretary until such time. The Police Federation is compromised. Yes, it is compromised with PMP LGBTQ plus party money on the last Federation meeting, in which vote buying was pervasive, rampant and in your face. Money runs like water, and that is why the PMP LGBTQ plus Senator Peter Bunting is out there defending this corrupted police officer and his team. As you can hear, Angela Brownberg, the daughter of the most wanted man in the 1980s, Anthony Brown, that is Dr. Angela Brownberg. Yes, called Corporal Rowan James comrade. No PMP LGBTQ plus supporter cannot call me comrade Porter. Them can't call me that. Because I am not a comrade. I am a Jamaican and I support the rule of law, not no political party. You understand? So that's the reason why. So Peter Bunting and defending them finance, them money, them investment. So that's the reason why this man was behaving like that and threatening the Commissioner of Police and the Jamaican people. Well, we know that this man has committed many breaches and the Commissioner of Police need to kick him out of the police force ASAP. Yeah, no if nor buts. You understand? And it's time to bring in the delegates and start an investigation. Many of them will crack because one cracked to me. I was talking to one of them who was defending James, and when you understand what I'm saying? When I put it to him that I asked him how much money did you get to vote for James, and he started buck shuffling, and I said, but I know that you guys got money to vote for this man. You understand? And yeah, so we continue the journey, So as we have told you before, that we are concerned about the corruption within the police force and agree that it is essential to get rid of this problem. The police officers' pay should be aligned to the permanent secretaries. We know that the PMP LGBTQ plus party allege that they have been involved in vote buying. Yes, and we know that this happened at the last Police Federation meeting where money run. Yeah, it is true. And if this is true, it is a serious matter that should be investigated. Because if the chairman of the Police Federation and its hierarchy and its members who are a part of this federation group, the Commissioner of Police should investigate them, and if they are found, to be wanting, the necessary charges should be filed against them. And in regards to the fraud charges that these people have committed fraud against the Jamaican people, yes, submitting 200 hours overtime, I do believe the Commissioner of Police should let the fraud squad go ahead and charge these people. Yeah, let them face the music and explain themselves to the court how them come by 200 overtime per week. Yes, you understand what I'm saying? Because remember, in 1 week, 24 hours make 1 day. Or they come by 200 hours overtime in 1 month. They have to justify that, but they can't. Because what they have done, they have submitted fraudulent claim because these people are crooks. Yes, dishonest, yes, to say the least. So we support the Commissioner of Police, and he's taking the proper steps to address this issue. He has well suspended Corporal Comrade Rowan James. Yeah, Comrade Rowan James, and I expect that he will continue to take action against those who are found to be corrupt. It is essential to hear from the delegates who attended the last Police Federation meeting. They may have information that could help to shed the light on what happened. We hope that the investigation into this matter is thorough and those found to be corrupt are held accountable. The people of Jamaica deserve a police force that is free of corruption. In addition to the above, we would like to add the following. It is important to remember that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. It is also essential to respect the privacy of those involved in this. If there's an investigation, yes, we hope the investigation is completed so that the people of Jamaica can have confidence in their police force. The public deserve a police force that is free from corruption. We hope the Commissioner of Police and the Police Federation will take the necessary step to ensure this happens. In addition to the above, we would like to add the following. It is important to remember that not all police officers are corrupt, as Corporal Rowan James and Arlene McBean and the others. Yes, and we say that they are alleged to be corrupt. They are not convicted of corruption, but it is alleged based on the information is out there. They are corrupt. Because if you submit 200 hours overtime for you to go to funeral market, have sex and all them things there, that is corruption. Yes, you understand? It is also important to note that the allegation of corruption against Comrade Rowan James and the rest of the Police Federation leadership are just allegations. They have not been proven in a court of law. So, please note, it is crucial to have a fair and impartial investigation into the allegation of corruption. An independent body should conduct the investigation and it should be transparent. The investigation findings should be made public and those responsible for wrongdoing should be held accountable. These steps are essential to ensuring the police force is free from corruption. So we want you at the Jamaica Young Police channel that listening right now, we want you to listen to these. Because any police officer who support Corporal Rowan James and disagree with the police leadership for sustaining this man, something is wrong with them. So you watch, you listen, and you decide.
In the words of Comrade Rowan James, them try to muzzle some, and who them can't muzzle, them try to bamboo.
Yes, we know that most of our Jamaican citizens, yes, most of them have short attention span, most of them don't read. Everything that they repeat is what they are told, even the words that they use, you understand. You can trick them easily with words because most of them, they are not smart. So that woman that you're listening to right there, that woman, her name is Angela Brown Burke. And you know who's her father? Her father is, yes, her father is the late Anthony Brown, yeah man, of the Hot Stepper gang from East Kingston. Anthony Brown was one of Jamaica's most wanted men in the 1980s, and he ran away and spent 13 years in Cuba. And that's how Jamaica and Cuba had a diplomatic spot, because Cuba had given refuge to a murderer who had killed a government official. Yes, Ted Ogilvy, Ian Tony Brown, Ian Jard Flash. And this is the reward that the PMP reward Angela Brown Burke with a seat in Parliament. So you have criminals, yes, criminals whose offspring are in Parliament passing laws. So Jamaica is a criminal's paradise. There's nowhere else in the world you would have somebody who's in Parliament that their father is a criminal. Yes, a known murderer, and get reward for it. So no wonder why the PMP LGBTQ plus party leader Mark Golding won 8 years for murders. So that's why you have Danville Palmer that is out there now, who should be in prison waiting on the Agman news. And I hope that the government turn around the tide to bring back Jamaica to a place where gunmen are the ones who live in fear and not the law-abiding citizens. So we'll continue the journey. So we want you to listen to this report about Corporal James taking sick leave and government time and out there wearing PMP LGBTQ plus paraphernalia as a police officer, which goes against the laws and regulation of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It could have even 300 years ago. The Commissioner of Police need to address it. This man supposed to be kicked out of the police source. Kick him out with no benefit. This man is not a police officer. This man is a political activist. And the Federation, you need to start dismantling. Don't listen to the bullet horn of the PMP LGBTQ plus party, because the PMP LGBTQ plus party, and we say it and we are going to say it again, it's not a political organization, it's a criminal organization. You watch, you listen, you decide.
I'm calling on the police high command to take immediate and decisive action in investigating and putting an end to the ongoing smear campaign targeting the chairman and the executive members of the Police Federation. Over the past 24 hours, 2 separate stories with false and defamatory allegations have been supposedly leaked to news outlets perceived to be sympathetic to the JLP administration, aimed at tarnishing the reputation of the Federation's leadership. This dangerous campaign of misinformation poses a significant threat to the morale and cohesiveness of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. and risks seriously undermining public trust and confidence in the leadership of the JCF. The Commissioner must promptly denounce this smear campaign and make it clear that the High Command has no involvement in and does not support it. The credibility and impartiality of the JCF leadership is at stake. I urge the Police High Command to swiftly launch a thorough investigation into the source and motivation behind the smear campaign and to take decisive action against those responsible. The public deserves to know that their law enforcement agencies are operating free of political interference and with the highest standards of professionalism. I stand in solidarity with the chairman and executive members of the Police Federation during this troubling time and call on all stakeholders to unite in preserving the integrity and impartiality of our nation's police force.
Yeah, so we at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, first, we are denouncing Peter Bunting. Peter Bunting have no credibility, no character, no integrity, no honesty, no truthfulness, no decency in him. Peter Bunting is the man who destroyed the life of 2 politicians in Jamaica. Yes, 2. One of them is our comrade, Philip Palwell. Peter Bunting destroyed Philip Palwell's life, tell lies on the man, and met the United States Embassy. Took away the man's visa because he wants to become Prime Minister. He wants to become leader of the PMP. Thanks to the PMP delegates, they did not afford him that because this man is Satan. 2 is the one that the fame Darrell Vasto, and why he lost his visa. This man is Satan incarnate. He's the one that destroyed the PMP party. We're not here blowing the horn for the PMP party because the PMP party is supposed to be, evolving and changing course from this criminality, support of criminality. But you see, because Peter Bunting and the likes and the other PMP LGBTQ plus member of parliament, they have invested millions in the last Federation chairman campaign. You understand? So that's why they are so closely behind the Police Federation chairman. We at the Jamaica Young Police Channel and its viewers, we are law-abiding citizens. We don't care how many years ago the Corporal Luan James was out there campaigning in PMP LGBTQ plus paraphernalia. He must be kicked out of the force forthwith. Unless you Jamaican people want the Jamaican Constabulary Force to go back to the days, and I want you people to listen to me, to go back to the days when the police would pick up gunmen, PMP gunmen in my community or other community and go and kill JLP supporters, and they would come back and boast how many labor rights them kill. That is the road that Peter Bunting wants to take Jamaica down. Do you people want to go down that road? We see that Mark Golden is willing to go down that road by marching with Danville Palmer, who lives at Orange Villa, and is a problem. This man should be on death row, but he's out because he's on parole. A convicted murderer on parole for murder. So people lives in Jamaica is not having any value when it comes on to the PMP because they want their people out there to enforce their political agenda. So as we continue the journey, we want you to listen. So anyone, we support the Commissioner of Police 100%. And we just can't wait for the day when they sever ties with this man to kick him out, dismiss him. We don't have any statute of limitation when it comes on to any member of the police force committing any breaches or any crime. You understand? I have seen police officer leave the police force 20 odd years and things that happen from in they charge them for murder. All because of politics. Yes. They say, boy, that policeman, he was a PMP police, and they said they charge him. I don't know, you understand, because of what they were doing. Police supposed to be impartial. And I knew from the get-go that this man was a PMP LGBTQ plus activist. We have never seen anything like this, and if the police commissioner don't nip it in the bud and make sure they kicked out this man and dismantle the police federation, Jamaica is going to go backwards. And we're going back to a troubling time with Peter Bunting and Mark Golden, and we can see it. So the Jamaican people, Unless you love the violence and the killing of each other, then you can ride with these people, because these people, you know, Satan incarnate. I would say it without any apology, Peter Bunting have no credibility. Nobody not supposed to listen to Peter Bunting. Peter Bunting is like dead wood. Period. Full stop. We support the Commissioner of Police and we want him to get 3 more years. We don't want anybody right now in the police force to become Commissioner of Police, because with this man, Corporal Rowan James, and all of them, that is to dismantle the police federation. The government of the numbers in Parliament, use it to your advantage, scrap it and make it dismantle the police federation. Let these all of them. So I want to show you now all these people at the police federation that they are not for the rule of law. No. These are criminals down there. No. So I want you to listen to this woman who is claiming, who is telling the Jamaican police, yes, look, submitting fraudulent overtime, nothing is wrong with that, and we need to stand with the chairman, and they want the police, you know. So what they were trying to do, you know, was to get the police officers not to work on August 2nd, but we got a wind of it and we make it public, because we are patriot. We are not on any PMP or GLP LGBT. We are on Team Jamaica. So I want you to listen to this criminal. You understand that? Yes, criminal in waiting, because the Commissioner of Police make them lock, make the fraud squad charge all of them and dismantle it for fraud. Don't cut them no slack, charge all of them.
All available rank and file members, you are invited to show your support on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023 at 10 a.m. as our chairman, Corporal Rowan James, faces the Supreme Court regarding his notice of interdiction. Greetings, rank and file members. Had to pause what I'm doing, still in the office. Tanisha, close the door. Just wanted to address something that has been circulating, and it is a news item aired on a particular station, as we know, who really carry news items of that sort that probably at times will create a bit of distraction. But constables, corporals, sergeants, inspectors, rank and file members, come on, we have to be leaders, you know. We can't allow a radio station to bring information of the past to present and try to confuse a situation. What I encourage you to do, be a leader, delete, stop listening. We don't need to be a part of the listenership of that particular station. The fact that they have selected a trend, if you look at the trajectory, rank and file members, when it comes on to that particular radio station, I encourage you, be not anxious about anything, but in everything, with prayer, petition, and thanksgiving, make your requests be known to God, and the peace that surpasses all understanding will guard our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Weak people tends to explore options like that. Strong people press on. And that is what we're doing, because we will not accommodate any form of distraction, and we will not accommodate any form of propaganda strategy. Therefore, I have to pause to encourage you to lead, delete, and don't discuss. Because guess what? It is a strategy, and we will not accede to it. Keep safe. God bless you, and have a wonderful rest of the night.
So anyone who is listening to this woman and is still having doubts about this chairman, the chairman of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Federation and its leadership down there, including this woman, and do not see it as a political organization that is trying to strangle the government and to brainwash its members. This woman, you know, she's morally corrupt, you know. This woman should not be in the police force, you know. And when I say that, I say it without any apology. Because on God's earth, In Jamaica, we do not have any statute of limitation for no crime. No crime, no breach of any rules or regulations in the police force. And she's telling you, the police members and the Jamaican people, that you must not listen to the facts that coming out. This man, Corporal Rowan James, who is a PMP LGBTQ plus supporter, the man took sick leave and out there campaigning for Mr. Valentine. And in case most of you people don't even know, I'm just going to give you a little tip. Mr. Valentine's, he have knowledge about the killing of Douglas Chambers. So let me just put a little caveat to it. Mr. Valentine, he have knowledge about the killing before Douglas Chambers was killed. Anyway, that's why we love the special branch. So the government must use all the necessary resources and arrest all of these people for the fraud that they committed. These people are a threat to the Jamaican security, and they're trying to inveigle the police officers, the rank and file member, to become criminal supporters. We at the Jamaica Young Police Center, we are very happy that the members did not turn up at the Supreme Court to show that it's like a vibes cartel thing that these people, getting out the corals and the bunkers. The police was supposed to be a law enforcement agency that deals with the rule of law, not the rule of man. Corporal Rowan James supposed to be arrested and charged for everything that he has done, departmentally and criminally. And we said that without any apology. This man is not a police officer. None of these people are down there. All in McBean, all of them, give them their, if you submit overtime and you cannot account for it, that is fraud. So arrest and charge them for it. You have to send a message now. You understand? We support the Commissioner of Police. I won't want him to be there until him start to detox the police force. Yes, you have all an ex-thief, an ex-criminal, a whole heap of them in the police force, Corporal Duppy Police, that is Clifford Coleman, the policeman that used to have, that had Budley cell phone number, so he was providing all kind of support for him. We need to read the police force of these criminal-minded people inside here, including this woman who made the voice note. You understand? The Commissioner of Police, we at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, we support him and we are on Team Jamaica. When this woman is telling, so you know what, they know that knowledge is power, So it's when the police officers are realizing now that the police chairman and his acolytes, they are all crooks. Yes, well, we said that without any apology, that they're there to rip off the system and not looking out for them. So that's why they're telling the members not to listen to Nationwide, because Nationwide, she don't come out and say it like Peter Bunting, Nationwide is is more aligned to the PMP, to the JLP LGBTQ plus party. If the truth is the truth, it's the truth. So what they're telling the members and the Jamaican people, only labor rights are honest people. Come on, man. So you say all PMP people are depraved mind people. Well, I guess that's what they're saying. So we'll continue the journey. I want you to listen to what this man has done. That is that man, Corporal Rowan James, man. That man not supposed to be any police station this man is supposed to go in as a complainant or an accused, not any policeman. This man, the next step the Commissioner of Police is supposed to be using is to kick him out of the police force. This man is a criminal, a PMP LGBTQ plus activist in uniform. I will make that without any apologies. The former detective Constable Christopher Porter would like to see this man kicked out of the police force, and the Commissioner of Police must do all the necessary to make sure that this man, all kind of privilege and benefits that he had because of the police force, to be stripped from him. Anything that he get because this man is not a patriot. This man is a political activist and a PMP LGBTQ plus supporter in uniform. I know this a long time because I have family who are PMP supporters, and they are the one that told me that this man was a comrade. So that's why I was telling the Jamaican people, well, we know that the Jamaica Young Police Channel is more biased towards the, you're biased against the PMP LGBTQ plus party because it seemed like you have a beef against them because they have hurt you. No, and they didn't hurt me. They hurt thousands of Jamaican people by destroying their minds, and that's how we have this level of criminality, because they are the party of criminal. It's not a political organization. And let's not forget, I don't forget about Lesmore. Willie Williams, that they killed 10 days before, and we won't let the Jamaican people forget it. You understand? Because it hurts. A man who is 80, and this man is a criminal. This man not supposed to come back in the police force. He's supposed to be arrested and charged with fraud. All of them. So we'll continue the journey.
Recommendation followed carefully documented evidence that Corporal James, while purportedly on sick leave, engaged in active political work on behalf of the opposition People's National Party, PNP, in the run-up to the 2011 general elections. Nationwide News has obtained documents detailing the questionable political conduct of Corporal James, who at the time was stationed at the police traffic headquarters. Mahiri Stewart has our report.
In December 2011, the Portia Simpson Miller-led PNP was seeking to unseat the ruling JLP led by Andrew Holness. Authenticated documents seen by Nationwide News suggest Corporal Rowan James was very much committed to that mission. The documents detail that on December 17, 2011, Corporal James applied for and proceeded on sick leave. But there are questions as to whether the corporal was actually unwell. One day after proceeding on sick leave, December 18, Corporal James was seen decked out in PNP gear while doing campaign work for the PNP at Glendale Housing Scheme off Malines Road in the Northwest St. Andrew constituency. More to the point, Corporal James was seen wearing an orange shirt, orange armband with the letters PNP written on it, and an orange cap with the letters PNP also written on it. James was seen in the company of PNP candidate Granville Valentine, who ultimately failed to unseat the JLP's Derek Smith in the general election. According to the documents, Corporal James was seen canvassing votes for the PNP by a resident who recognized him as a serving member of the JCF. That resident called the anti-corruption branch of the JCF and made a report. The anti-corruption branch swiftly deployed 2 policemen to Glendale Housing Scheme, instructing them to pose as residents. The undercover policemen interacted with Corporal James, Granville Valentine, and the rest of the PNP canvass team. On that day, the undercover lawmen videotaped and photographed Corporal James working to win the Northwest St. Andrew seat for the PNP. The documents we've seen meticulously detail the same movements and descriptions of the political scene on that fateful day, with Corporal James fully engaged in proceedings. The activity to catch Corporal James on the political campaign trail was dubbed Operation Outlaw by the JCF. By virtue of his actions, 11 days before the 2011 general election, Corporal James was accused of breaching the force's rules dealing with politics and public policy. He was also accused of breaching the force's ethics and integrity policy, as well as the force's standing orders dealing with malingering. The PNP won the December 29 election. 5 days later, on January 3, 2012, Corporal James received an oral notice that he was to make himself available to answer to the allegations against him. James reportedly demanded the notice in writing. He was served that notice. Nationwide News has seen no evidence that Corporal James reported for that interview, despite receiving both oral and written requests to do so. The report from the JCF accuses James of failing to cooperate with the investigation into his conduct. It also blasts him for having no respect for authority. The report further accuses James of bringing the police force into disrepute by his blatantly political actions. The report says his behavior at the time risked returning the JCF to a period where it was viewed as a partisan and political institution. It says his conduct also risked undermining the work of his colleagues. The damning report recommended that in the interest of the force, James should be separated from the JCF. It also recommended that the policeman be subjected to a lie detector test. The 2012 recommendation to dismiss him for political work is sure to raise eyebrows following the recent reference to him by PNP chairman Dr. Angela Brown-Burke as a comrade. It's not immediately clear what became of the 2012 recommendation to the Services Commission. Repeated efforts to reach the chief personnel officer in the Services Commission were unsuccessful. Calls to Corporal James were not answered. In a terse response to a WhatsApp request for a response to our story, the corporal invited our news center to go ahead and publish. He offered no further comment. Corporal James is currently under interdiction. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, there were questions from as far back as 2008 as to whether Corporal Rohan James was physically resilient enough to be a policeman due to his numerous requests for sick leave. In 1 year, over a period of just over 3 months, the corporal reportedly took more than 60 days of sick leave. The revelation has sparked questions as to whether the Police Federation chairman abused and exploited the JCF's sick leave provision. Those questions formed part of the justification for the force's 2012 recommendation that he be retired in the public interest. Norgay Banton has that side of the story.
In a March 2008 letter, the superintendent in charge of the Kingston Western Division wrote to Corporal James informing him that his health was of concern to his superiors. The curious missive was issued following a revelation that in 2007, Corporal James reported sick on 7 occasions. Those occasions amounted to him taking 37 days of sick leave in that year alone. Corporal James was advised that if his health did not improve within 3 months, a report would be forwarded to the then Commissioner of Police, Rear Admiral Hardley Lewin, advising him that James was unfit to perform further duties in the JCF. In May 2008, Corporal James responded to the notice, explaining that he had been in a motor vehicle accident on April 4, 2007, while on the job. He noted that the relevant medical certificate had been submitted as verification. In October of the following year, the head of the Kingston Western Division wrote to Corporal James advising that between August 10 and October 16, 2008, a period of just over 3 months, the policeman had taken 65 days of sick leave. Those days were for injuries sustained in a second motor vehicle crash, this one occurring in August of 2008. The damage done to the police service vehicle in which James was traveling was described as minor. The JCF say no report had been submitted by James outlining the particulars of the accident which caused his injuries. Instead of being home recuperating from his alleged injuries, the JCF says Corporal James was doing outside work. Despite being off on sick leave for injuries purportedly sustained in that motor vehicle crash, the JCF alleged that James was seen representing persons at the orderly room and court of inquiry. He was reportedly being paid by the Police Federation to carry out these functions. The corporal was also allegedly spotted by fellow police personnel moonlighting as a private security guard at the Anthony Spaulding Sports Complex, home of Arnett Gardens Football Club. This was at a time when his superiors believed he was on sick leave. The JCF accused James of exaggerating his illness by claiming he was suffering from spinal injuries. On at least 2 visits to Corporal James's listed address by his superiors to confirm that he was in fact recovering at home, he was not seen at the address. Following repeated notices from his superiors about his conduct, Corporal James reportedly accused them of, quote, moral turpitude, and alleged that the notice about his alleged abuse of the sick leave provisions was, quote, tyrannic, oppressive, and malicious, end quote. He was warned that pretending to be ill in order to avoid work was a serious offense in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Corporal James was advised to report for duty by October 17, 2008, at which time he was to have been examined by a medical board to assess his health. That assessment would determine his future service in the constabulary force. It is not clear if that examination ever occurred. Corporal James has refused to respond in detail to a request by our news center for comment on these issues. Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
In the meantime, Nationwide News understands that the application by Corporal James for the Supreme Court to overturn his interdiction took a major turn today. This after he asked through his attorney Hugh Wildman for the presiding judge, Justice Carolyn Ty Powell, to recuse herself from the proceedings. It's understood that Corporal James claims Justice Ty Powell represented him in a court matter during her time as a lawyer at the Attorney General's chambers. According to Corporal James, that situation could present a conflict of interest in these proceedings. The hearing is set to resume on Thursday morning, at which time Justice Ty Powell is expected to respond to the request for recusal. You're listening to Nationwide at 5.
Yes, and we appreciate the information that we had received from Nationwide, because we are not on the ground, so we have to give credit to them, to Nationwide. All the information that we have played, we haven't heard it on any of the other stations in Jamaica. So you know that everything, they are not about the truths in Jamaica. They are not about truths. They are all about politics and what's in it for me. So they are not looking out for the Jamaican populace. They are just looking out for themselves, because, you know, most of these people here, they are corrupted. And based on what we have heard, if you as a Jamaican, or even as a human being, if you want your police force members to be active in political discourse, to be taking sick leave, campaigning out there, and you're talking about things that happened a long time, this man hasn't changed. And we don't even care if he changes. This man should not be in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, because he does not represent, he doesn't have the moral, the ethics, decency, honesty, and truthfulness in him to be a leader of the Police Federation. And we do believe that the Commissioner of Police, they should order a high-level probe of the Police Federation, arrest and charge all of them for fraud who have submitted these 200 hours overtime. Because what they're doing, they're scamming the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to rank and file. And it's Nationwide that is educating them. Because this man all along, you know, when the man got the 3-year money from Dr. Chang, he refused it and took the government to court, because he was campaigning for the PNP, LGBTQ plus government, because he thought that the local government election was in the making. I just hope that the government, the police force, do not let this slide. They have to squeeze all of these people, and squeeze them hard, because you have to send a message. Based on this man rhetoric and all of these people at the Police Federation, you can see that they have no respect for the rule of law, the rules and regulation of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They have no respect for themselves, the Jamaican people, and the hierarchy of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the government itself. These people, not only that they are rogue police officers, they are criminal-minded police officers. So no wonder why the Jamaican people have lost trust and faith in the police force, because of these kind of members. If you have these people that's leading an entity like the Jamaican Police Federation, and they are this corrupt, imagine what is there that we are not seeing. The Commissioner of Police need to make sure that these people are held accountable for their crimes. And you don't have to ask, they have committed several crimes. We can see it, fraud. They submit over 200 hours overtime. There's no reason to talk about you capping it to 80. Arrest and charge them for it, because nobody, the police force, not supposed to be paying anyone to have sex and to go to supermarket. Let them show where they work it. Let them go to courts. You see me that we as detectives would go give a criminal a run for his money. You understand? Give them a run for their money. Make sure all of them, even this woman who's calling for the members of August the 2nd, to that messaging was a covert messaging, because that was the day that they wanted the rank and file members of the police force to report it sick, to shut down the country. So these people are not for the rule of law, they are for their party. So I can tell you, this political, this next election is going to be bloody, because we see that the PNP LGBTQ plus party have been hoarding guns, high power weapons, We saw it the other day in Montego Bay where a secretary of the PNP party has been arrested and charged with the importation of guns and two other persons. So imagine, this is a man, and all of these people, they have no shame and they defend him. You know that the PNP LGBTQ plus party is a criminal organization. They have no shame. They don't care. They never have, and they will never love Jamaican people. They don't go love Jamaican poor people because they love poor people. Because once you're poor, they love you. You understand? They don't like people who can think. And that is what is going on right now. So even the Police Federation leadership, they think that even the police are that stupid. Yes, they know that. They know that the police are that stupid because they know that when they went to the Supreme Court and take them down there to demonstrate, it was nothing about any money. It was just smokes in mirror. And when everything come to the fore, the PNP LGBTQ plus party, they spend millions and it flows through James' hands and to the delegates. Even that, one of the delegates called me and told me that they had received money at the last convention. That's why James was elected, and all of them, because that's what the money was for. So even the police force, we can have a police force with so many corrupt members and people who are in places who are supposed to have high integrity and they're corrupt. If this is the police force that you people want, well, hey, so be it. You can't kiss Jamaica, bye-bye. Because it's going there. So next time, in the next 3 years, you know what? It's going to be Haitians sending troops to Jamaica. You understand? Because that's where we're going, Because the PNP never loved Jamaica, They will burn it down and rule over the ashes. I am telling you that. So we can't, it's just mind-boggling, and it's really hurtful to see what's happening in Jamaica with the police force, with these criminal-minded people. So no wonder why criminals are getting so many breaks from police in Jamaica, because you have corrupt-minded police officers in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, including the people at the Police Federation, and hope that the police force will do the necessary and arrest and charge all these people for fraud and kick them out of the police force because they don't need to be there. And for this woman who is calling for the police force to take up, not literally arms, to drop everything against the government so that they can release the to rescind the interdiction of the police chairman Rowan James. They are no better than the Klansman or the one done gang. So they are criminals criminal-minded in uniform, dance. You understand? Yeah, so let me refresh some of the Jamaican people who have either short memory, no memory, or don't have any recollection, or they're just ignorant of the fact what used to happen in the police force in the 1970s. Yes, you see, in the 1970s, police officers like Corporal Rowan James, you know what they would do? They would drive into my community of Jonestown. They would pick up young men with illegal guns. Just listen what I'm saying. Police officers like Corporal Rowan James in the 1970s would drive into my community where I was born and raised and pick up young men who are brigadistas with illegal guns in the marked police vehicle, and they would drive to PNP community and they would kill labor rights. They would drive out of the PNP community to GLP communities and they will kill labor rights. So the people would say that it's the police that do the killing, but there's no official police report that it was police that killed the men, because the police would take off the license plates of the vehicle. At the time, police vehicle, it never used to have any the division is just have the police with the police logo and 119. You understand? So the division was not on the vehicle. It's more, it was like Kingston West, but it wasn't like that back then. So they would drive and go to a labor right community and they would kill labor right, whether they're a bad man or not, but them just kill labor right. That's why you do not want a man like this back in the force. So they suppose the commissioner of police currently, that's why we support him, supposed to be start to getting rid of this man from the police service commission. We don't care if I even 300 years ago. This man is not a police officer. This man is a political activist in uniform. You understand? And this man is not a police officer. Period. Full stop. And him not supposed to receive any benefit from the Jamaican peoples, from the taxpayers' money. You understand? No, he's not a police officer. So we want you to continue to listen, because these are the things that we want to get rid of out of the police source. And we can see that the PNP at this moment, because I don't know if it's they're desperate or what, but when I was in the police force for the entire time the PNP was in power, and I have never seen the Labour them try to infiltrate any organization to cause chaos in Jamaica. And that is what the PNP, they are like the people that they would rather burn down the entire country and rule over the ashes. So you listen, you decide. So we'll continue the journey. I want you to listen to these people from Nationwide.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now the details. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, had recommended in 2012 to the Office of the Services Commission that Chairman of the Police Federation, Corporal Rohan James, be retired in the public interest. The damning recommendation followed carefully documented evidence that Corporal James, while purportedly on sick leave, engaged in active political work on behalf of the opposition People's National Party, PNP, in the run-up to the 2011 general elections. Nationwide News has obtained documents detailing the questionable political conduct of Corporal James, who at the time was stationed at the police traffic headquarters. Mahiri Stewart has our report.
In December 2011, the Portia Simpson Miller-led PNP was seeking to unseat the ruling JLP led by Andrew Holness. Authenticated documents seen by Nationwide News suggest Corporal Rohan James was very much committed to that mission. The documents detail that on December 17, 2011, Corporal James applied for and proceeded on sick leave. But there are questions as to whether the corporal was actually unwell. One day after proceeding on sick leave, December 18, Corporal James was seen decked out in PNP gear while doing campaign work for the PNP at Glendale Housing Scheme off Malines Road in the Northwest St. Andrew constituency. More to the point, Corporal James was seen wearing an orange shirt, orange armband with the letters PNP written on it, and an orange cap with the letters PNP also written on it. James was seen in the company of PNP candidate Granville Valentine, who ultimately failed to unseat the JLP's Derek Smith in the general election. According to the documents, Corporal James was seen canvassing votes for the PNP by a resident who recognized him as a serving member of the JCF. That resident called the anti-corruption branch of the JCF and made a report. The anti-corruption branch swiftly deployed 2 policemen to Glendale Housing Scheme, instructing them to pose as residents. The undercover policemen interacted with Corporal James, Granville Valentine, and the rest of the PNP canvass team. On that day, the undercover lawmen videotaped and photographed Corporal James working to win the Northwest St. Andrew seat for the PNP. The documents we've seen meticulously detail the same movements and descriptions of the political scene on that fateful day, with Corporal James fully engaged in proceedings. The activity to catch Corporal James on the political campaign trail was dubbed Operation Outlaw by the JCF. By virtue of his actions, 11 days before the 2011 general election, Corporal James was accused of breaching the force's rules dealing with politics and public policy. He was also accused of breaching the force's ethics and integrity policy, as well as the force's standing orders dealing with malingering. The PNP won the December 29 election. 5 days later, on January 3, 2012, Corporal James received an oral notice that he was to make himself available to answer to the allegations against him. James reportedly demanded the notice in writing. He was served that notice. Nationwide News has seen no evidence that Corporal James reported for that interview, despite receiving both oral and written requests to do so. The report from the JCF accuses James of failing to cooperate with the investigation into his conduct. It also blasts him for having no respect for authority. The report further accuses James of bringing the police force into disrepute by his blatantly political actions. The report says his behavior at the time risked returning the JCF to a period where it was viewed as a partisan and political institution. It says his conduct also risked undermining the work of his colleagues. The damning report recommended that in the interest of the force, James should be separated from the JCF. It also recommended that the policeman be subjected to a lie detector test. The 2012 recommendation to dismiss him for political work is sure to raise eyebrows following the recent reference to him by PNP chairman Dr. Angela Brown-Burke as a comrade. It's not immediately clear what became of the 2012 recommendation to the Services Commission. Repeated efforts to reach the chief personnel officer in the Services Commission were unsuccessful. Calls to Corporal James were not answered. In a terse response to a WhatsApp request for a response to our story, the corporal invited our news center to go ahead and publish. He offered no further comment. Corporal James is currently under interdiction. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Yeah, so, we at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens. And we support the Commissioner of Police 100%. Yes, we support the Commissioner of Police 100% in what he's doing, along with his deputies and assistant. What needs to be done now is that all of these members of the Police Federation who have been submitting fictitious and fraudulent overtimes, they need to be arrested and charged, and to make an example, parade their name publicly so that people know that these people have no character, credibility, integrity, and that they are crooks. Yes, they are very dishonest, and to show that they are criminal-minded people. And eventually we know that their photographs, because their photograph is in the public domain, because they cannot take it off the internet. So we'll know who they are. You understand? These people are crooks, criminal-minded people, and these people have no rights to be there serving in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The public deserve a police force that is free from corruption. The Commissioner of Police and the Federation, will take the necessary step to ensure that this happens. We're not talking about this federation, we're talking about the next one. So the Commissioner of Police need to start to dismantle it, get rid of it. It is important to remember that not all police officers are corrupt, but all of them who are at the Police Federation who have submitted for 200 hours overtime in which anyone did not earn it, they are crooks, dishonest at best. So they should be scolded for it. Yes, they should be scolded for it. I used to work sometimes 96 hours or more, 100 hours for the week. I never used to get overtime, and I didn't care because I loved the job. These people are crooks. They are there to milk the system. You understand? We would like to see criminal charges against all of these people. Yes, and the reason why I want is because we want corruption to be stamped out of the police force and politics. We know that the PNP LGBTQ plus party, that is their thing. Corruption, yes. We know that the PNP LGBTQ party alleged that they have been involved in vote buying at the last Police Federation meeting. And if this is true, it's a serious matter and should be investigated. The Police Commissioner, Major Anthony Anderson, is taking the proper steps to address this issue. He has already suspended Corporal Rowan James, and I expect that he will continue to take action against those who are found to be corrupt. You don't have to ask. Just listen to the rhetoric and the threats that's coming from Corporal Arlene McBean and the other woman who sent out a message stating that they want the rank and file members to stand with Corporal Rowan James. When Corporal Rowan James weren't standing with them, he was standing against them and standing with the PNP LGBTQ plus party. It is also essential to hear from the delegates who attended the last Police Federation meeting. They may have information that could help shed light on what happened with the corrupted voting system there. Even in the police force, the corruption of vote buying is there too. Can you believe? In the police force, supposed to be above. It's supposed to be an exemplary organization to show that they are not in the corrupted business. You understand? But when you have corrupted people in any organization, corruption would reign supreme. And that is what these people are there doing. They don't care about Jamaica. They're all about their party. and everything, what's in it for me. Not what I can do for Jamaica, but what's in it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this commentary, and we'll continue to highlight anything, any form of corruption in the police force, and we have a lot to expose in regards to this man, Corporal Rowan James. We were the first YouTube channel that I've been telling you a long time ago that this man was not a police officer but a political activist. And you know, as usual, once you call them out, the PNP, they're going to label you, say you're a Labourite, because they expect everybody to be corrupt as them. We're not into the business of corruption. In terms of Corporal Rowan James taking sick leave and then campaigning for the PNP, that man should not be in the police force, but we know that it was Rear Admiral Llewellyn, Admiral Llewellyn, who was the Commissioner of Police at the time, and he was not a certified police officer either. But you know, he was a PNP LGBTQ plus activist. Yes, that's what he was. So that's why Corporal Rowan James is still there, and there to create problem for the Jamaican people and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. This man is a criminal supporter, a criminal enabler, and a criminal-minded person. Corporal James have no business in being in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Worse, and he's broke service. So he's a criminal-minded person. And you can sue me, Corporal Rowan James, because you're a criminal-minded person. Everything that we have seen so far show that you're a criminal-minded person. You have no respect for the rule of law, the rules and regulations that govern the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and you have no respect for the uniform that you are wearing. You are a disgrace, a dishonest, and an ethical and immoral person. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.